In this video, we're going to install and work with the AdvancedTshirts.com T-shirt generator plugin, or the TComp plugin. It's available free on the site. It's about a 1 meg download, and once you download it, you'll find an icon wherever you download it. Save it on your desktop or wherever. It'll have this T on it. And you want to go ahead and install that. But before you install it, you want to shut CorelDRAW down. If you don't shut CorelDRAW down, you get a warning to shut CorelDRAW down. The reason for that is after you make the install, Corel needs to register the plugin. So you want to shut down your CorelDRAW applications. Then simply wherever you saved your icon, double-click on that, and the installation interface will come up. Go ahead and select whether you have CorelDRAW X3 or CorelDRAW X4. Click on Next, and you're going to have the destination folder, which is the default is My Documents / TComp Files. And go ahead and click on Install, and everything will go ahead and install right on your system. Then go ahead and close. The next thing I want to do is go ahead and start CorelDRAW. And we'll go ahead and start a new blank document. I want to create a custom button for the generator. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go to Tools, Customization, and Commands. Once that opens, I'm going to come up here to File, left click, and I'll go right down to Macros. And then I'll find in there a TComp Gen, main.tcomp gen. And what I want to do is go over here to Appearance, and then I'll come down here to Import. And I'll click on this little gray chip here, and I'll get a custom icon I can make for this. I'm just going to draw a little C in here so we'll know that this is the comp generator after we create our little button here. And as you can see, my icon is now customized over here. I'll left click on that, hold down and drag that into my workspace, and then I'll select OK, and now I'll have a comp generator button. I'll go ahead and take that button and tuck it into my workspace. I can actually put it anywhere I want to. If I want to put it down here, I can go over there, left click, hold down those little dots you see across the top. You can bring that up in the top of your workspace and drop it there if you prefer, or any place you'd like to put it, but I'll put it right down here beneath my toolbar. So once that's set up in CorelDRAW, all we need to do is click on it, and you can see we'll get the AdvancedTshirts.com free t-shirt comp generator. Now, the comp generator does a couple of different things. Very often I'll bring the comps in just to design right on top of them so I can see the color of my t-shirt, get a real feel for what I'm drawing and designing, and also get a feel for how to use the color of my garment in my design, because obviously if we're designing different colored garments, we can use the color in our garment in our actual design. So it's always nice to design on the actual garment. Now if I right click here on full front comp, you'll see that I now have a full front comp in CorelDRAW. Now if you want to edit this, change the text or anything that's in this comp, you can do that simply. For example, let's delete the logo here, and we'll just type in logo as kind of an idea for a logo, and you could go ahead and put your logo right there at the top of the page. I got to zoom back out here. And to save your file so it'll be customized for your business or your comps or whatever you were doing, all you need to do is go to File, Save As. You want to go to My Documents, TComp Files, Comp Files, and we'll save this as the normal front comp and select Save and select OK, and then we'll process that. Now if I delete everything here and select full front comp again, you'll see that I get it with my custom logo. I'm now loading the customized comp for my business or my project or my work. Let's go ahead and take a look at the shirts here for just a minute and how we can change and work with our colors. So I'm going to go ahead and close the comp generator here. This is actually a vector object that's been traced around a monochrome image, which is transparent and only has the shading of the garment. So the way this particular garment works is that your vector is your highlight or your lighter color, and the monochrome, which if I hold down my control key and click, which is inside, I'm now inside a power clip, is the darker color. Now monochromes work a little bit different than vector. It's actually reversed. I'm going to go ahead and create a rectangle here so we can explain how monochromes work. And I'm going to put an outline on that of say 10 points. You notice on my color palette that if I left click on this orange and then come over and right click on the blue, the left click changes the fill color for my vector and the blue click changes the outline color. On a monochrome bitmap, our shading is our right click or our outline, and our fill is kind of like our background. For example, if I click on, let's say, this gray with my left mouse button, I'm now putting a background in my shaded monochrome bitmap. Now if I come over and right click, you can see I start to change the shading. If I left click in the X on my color palette, I will knock out or make transparent the background of this monochrome bitmap in CorelDRAW. So what I'm doing is I'm actually changing the color of my shading based on the color of my vector garment that has the monochrome bitmap power clipped inside. If I right click and go to finish editing this level, I can take this particular vector t-shirt, and let's say we want to make it a green comp. I can click on my green, but we can see that that black isn't really working. So what would I do? I would left click, not left click, I'd hold down my control key, click one time, make sure you have your object selected when you do that, and then come up here to say green, left click on that, let that color palette fold out, and then come down and right click on one of these darker greens, as you can see here. Now if I right click and go here and then go to finish editing this level, you can see I now have a green t-shirt comp. If I wanted a black t-shirt comp, I'd probably fill the shirt with 70 or 80% black. I've got it selected. I can hold down my control key and select and click one time, and I'll get inside of my power clip. Then come up here and right click on black, right click again and select finish editing this level, and now I've got a black t-shirt comp. Now if I wanted to, I could hold down my control key and double click, and that will put me inside if I don't have my object selected. I could copy and paste two copies of these monochrome bitmaps on top of each other, right click and go to finish editing this level, and now I've got a little bit of a darker shading for my black garment. Now I'll probably want to delete that other monochrome that I just pasted on there, and then I'll right click and go to finish editing this level again. Now sometimes when you're making these, you need to use different colors. For example, if I'm going with, say, this light orange, and I want to get a little bit of a better color for my shading, I'll hold down my control key, click one time, come over here, say ruby red. Now I don't have my monochrome selected. I need to click on that with my left mouse button one time to have that selected. Left click, hold down on ruby red, come down and grab one of these darker browns, right click and go to finish editing this level, and you can see that that shading, even though it's a different color, it works very well for that comp. So it's all about how you pick out the shading color that you have and how you pick out your highlight color. And really, as I said, the vector is working as your lighter color or your highlight color, and the monochrome power clipped inside of the vector is working as your shading in the comp. So you can create any color you want with this particular comp very quickly. Now another great part about working with this comp, and I'm going to go ahead and open up another file here, and that'll take just a minute to process. Rather big files, that we can use this to design all over garments, and we can also use it to create instant comps on the fly when we finish a piece of artwork. You can see here that I've got this soccer designs here. It kind of looks like it's an all over print. Well, if I grab this particular comp here with all of its graphics and we move it down here, I can take and lasso just the graphics that are on this shirt. Let's say we move this over, and then click on it with my right mouse button, and then drag it, holding down my right mouse button, and release on top of my vector object. I can select power clip inside, then I can hold down my control key, click one time, come in here and select everything, change the size of it, and then right click and go to finish editing this level. And you can see now I've designed kind of like an all over print. So these comps are great for designing all over prints on the fly in CorelDRAW. We'll be doing some work with that in some future tutorials. Another thing that we can do with the comp generator is I'm going to go ahead and select these two objects here, and I'll delete this also. And I've got this design that I set up over here that's actually from one of the other tutorials, and I want to turn that into a comp. So I've got everything here. I want to select it all, make sure that I group everything, and with the comp generator all I need to do is select and click on that button and select generate full front comp. Now I've got a lot of layers in this graphic, and I wanted to show you this so that you'll see what happens here. If you've got a lot of layers with all these different power clips and vectors and everything that's in this graphic, I've got a lot of layers. Now normally, if I was just working in a pretty simple graphic, my image would have come up on the front of my t-shirt. But because I've got so many layers here, it automatically stuck it behind that. All I need to do is, if I go to View Wireframe, you'll see that the graphic is actually behind the t-shirt. All I need to do is I'll go back to View and Enhance here. All I need to do is select everything, and then just come up on that X in the center, right click, and then go Order, and then come click in front of, and then click on my t-shirt, and I've got everything right in front of the garment here. Now if I do a new graphic and I'm working with simple objects, it's not something very complex. Let's say I've just got a couple of vector objects for my logo or my graphic that I'm setting up here. And I'll go ahead and select all of these, and then you want to just go ahead and select everything, and then go ahead and group everything. Now if I bring up my comp generator again and go full front comp, you'll see that it placed all of my graphics directly in front of my comp, as you can see there. So this is just a quick video on how to install and work with the AdvancedTshirts.com free t-shirt comp generator.